From floating daggers to invisible blood and moving forests, Macbeth is loaded with weird and wonderful moments, but here are 5 of the most important ones which shape the rest of the story. The first major event occurs at the very start of the play in Act 1, Scene 3, when Macbeth and his friend Banquo encounter the witches for the very first time. These women greet Macbeth as Thane of Glamis, Thane of Cawdor, and King. At this point, Macbeth is only Thane of Glamis, so they seem to be suggesting that the other 2 titles are destined to be in his future. Banquo is also given a prophecy that he will not be king, but his descendants will be. Although Macbeth tries to brush off their words, saying, "The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman, and to be king stands not within the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor." When he first hears the witch's prophecy, Banquo says, "Good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair?" This is a good question, and what it implies is that Macbeth has probably coveted these titles in secret before, and therefore the witch's words have brought his darkest ambitions to light. Only moments later, it is revealed that he has indeed been made Thane of Cawdor, as a reward for his bravery on the battlefield. In Macbeth's mind, this confirms his destiny, despite Banquo's prophetic warning that the instruments of darkness tell us truths, win us with honest trifles, to betray us in deepest consequence. From the moment the witches fueled the fires of Macbeth's ambition, it was almost inevitable that he would end up murdering King Duncan. Even though the actual murder takes place off stage, this is probably the most significant moment in the play, as Macbeth finally makes his desires a reality. He is aided and abetted in this crime by his wife, Lady Macbeth, who is arguably more ambitious than he is, and has made it her mission to ensure that he goes through with the deed, as in her words, he is too full of the milk of human kindness. She does this by questioning his manhood, saying in Act 1, Scene 7, "When you durst do it, then you were a man, and to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man." Whether he would have murdered King Duncan without this encouragement is up for debate, but in the end he does do it, and almost immediately feels a crushing sense of guilt and paranoia. Because kings at that time were considered to be appointed by God, regicide was the worst crime you could possibly commit, and Macbeth is instantly haunted by voices saying, "Sleep no more, Macbeth does murder sleep," an eerie foreshadowing of what awaits them both. Now that Macbeth has murdered Duncan and his sons have fled, he becomes the next king of Scotland, and you'd think that would make him pretty happy, but this isn't the case. Everything the witches have foretold has come true so far, helped along by his actions, of course, but this also means that Banquo's descendants are likely set to be kings rather than his. He says to himself that, "To be thus is nothing but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared." To consolidate his power and relieve his building paranoia, therefore, he commits another bloody crime by hiring assassins to murder his friend and his son, Fleance, to ensure that his line is completely ended. Fleance manages to escape, but shortly after, Macbeth goes a step further and murders Macduff's entire family because of his refusal to attend his coronation and his loyalty to King Duncan's son Malcolm. He has learned that the price of claiming power in the way that he did is an unrelenting paranoia and fear of losing that power, and he admits later on that, "I am in blood stepped in so far that, should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go o'er." Unfortunately for Macbeth, he does not have the heart of stone he would need to come out on the other side of these actions mentally unscathed. At a celebratory feast, he sees the ghost of Banquo sitting in his seat, a vision which absolutely terrifies him. Again, it is up for debate whether he is really seeing the ghost of Banquo, or whether his paranoia and guilt have manifested itself in this form, similar to the floating dagger before he murdered King Duncan. But whatever the case, it frightens him so much that he cannot even pretend to be okay in front of his guests. Lady Macbeth once again plays the manhood card, questioning, "Are you a man? Shame itself, why do you make such faces? When all's done, you look but on a stool." While Lady Macbeth has been all talk this whole play, even she has been affected by the mental toll of their crimes, and actually is far more affected than Macbeth is, but she just keeps it suppressed. This backfires though, leading to her infamous sleepwalking scene in Act 5, Scene 1, where she tries to scrub King Duncan's imaginary blood off of her hands, and eventually goes so far as to take her own life. Banquo's ghost, either real or imaginary, signifies the fact that the repercussions for their actions go far beyond what they had bargained for, and that the mental consequences can actually be more damaging than the physical ones. The last moment we will look at in this play is the final encounter between Macbeth and Macduff in Act 5, Scene 10. Although all seems lost for Macbeth, he has still been holding on to the prophecies given to him by the witches when he last met up with them in Act 4, as security that he cannot be killed. The witches bring up several apparitions, one which says, "Beware Macduff," one which says, "None of woman born shall harm Macbeth," and one which says, "Macbeth shall never vanquished be until great Birnam Wood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him." While these prophecies are oddly specific, Macbeth chooses to ignore the loopholes and assume that he is invincible, even when Malcolm's army chops down branches from the forest and holds them in front of them, technically fulfilling the third prophecy. During this showdown, however, Macbeth realizes at last that he has been duped by the witches, as his opponent reveals that Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped, meaning that he was delivered via C-section, so technically not born from a woman because he didn't come out the traditional way. In despair, Macbeth says, "And be these juggling fiends no more believed, that palter with us in a double sense, that keep the word of promise to our ear, and break it to our hope." This sad realization echoes Banquo's earlier statement in Act 1, where he warned Macbeth against believing what they had to say. But Macbeth let his fatal flaw, ambition, cloud his judgment from the moment he heard the witch's words, leading to his inevitable and tragic end. What do you think is the most significant moment from Macbeth? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, check out my animated summary of Macbeth and analysis videos linked in the description. See you next time!